friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be talking about all the things that I've been up to this April. That includes what I've been playing, what I've been streaming, what I've been reading, and what I've been watching. So first things first is I have been playing a game called Sunhaven. This game is basically a Stardew Valley clone, but with a lot more magic and fantasy elements in it. It also improves on a lot of the things that you may not like about Stardew Valley. For example, there's no energy bar, you're able to harvest your crops with a scythe as opposed to individually picking each one of them. But it also has its fallbacks, like there's no sprinklers and stuff like that. So they're a little bit different, but very similar. It's also a little bit glitchy because it only just came out a little while ago and I don't think it was quite ready to release yet. And also there's a couple of issues with the multiplayer where it's not really like a true multiplayer. It's mostly like you're just kind of both playing the game at the same time. You're not actually interacting with each other that much, and any fighting and boss fights that you do are done individually, not as a team. So it has its problems, but I also married a cat girl in it, so like they balance out. As for what I've been streaming, I've actually been mainly streaming two different games. First one I've been playing on Monday and Tuesday, and that is Mass Effect. If you don't know what Mass Effect is, it's basically an action-adventure RPG set in space. You play as Shepard, a commander of a ship, and you are trying to stop this evil alien guy from basically destroying the universe. There's lots of quests and side quests and tons of characters that you get to meet and interact with and get to know. There's also romance. You're able to romance a couple of the different companions that you meet. And yeah, I've been really enjoying it. We actually just finished the first game, and I think we're going to start the next game next week, Mass Effect 2. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. I've also been playing a game called Disco Elysium, which is an RPG game as well, but it's more of a detective game where you use different skills to investigate and try to solve a murder that also has a lot of local political implications as well. It's a really interesting game. It definitely approaches an RPG in a different way than I've ever seen before, with lots of different skills that you wouldn't think of having and lots of interactions. There's also constantly checks happening in the background that you don't realize are happening, that you can either pass or fail and not realize. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. As for reading, I've been reading two books. I only just started both of them, but I've been really enjoying both of them. The first one is called The Guest List by Lucy Foley. This is kind of a thriller, suspenseful book. It takes place on an island just off of the coast of Ireland at a wedding between a TV star and a magazine publisher. The POV actually bounces around between a couple of the characters, between the bride, the best man, a +1, the wedding planner, and the bridesmaid. And basically, at the beginning of the at the beginning of the book, you're just kind of getting to know the characters and getting, you know, the backstory on all their interpersonal drama, but then suddenly someone shows up dead and the stakes get a lot higher. Unfortunately, I was only just beginning to read this book when my library app returned it to the library, and now there's suddenly just like a ton of people who are taking it out. There's 90 people in the waitlist and only 4 copies, so it's going to be a while before I get this book back. The other book I'm reading is Siege and Storm by Lee Bardugo. This is actually a sequel to Shadow and Bone, a book that I read last November. In the first book, the main character Alina discovers that she's not the nobody that she thought she was, but she actually has unimaginable powers that might be the only thing that can save her nation from the dark powers that have invaded it. The book that I'm reading right now is actually a direct sequel. It is exactly what happens right after the climax of the first book, which I don't want to give too much away in case you want to read the first book, so I won't say anything more than that. Next is what I've been watching. The first thing I've been watching a lot of is Many a True Nerd's Oblivion series. This is a British YouTuber that I watch mostly for their Fallout content, but for the last couple months they've been playing Elder Scrolls Oblivion twice a week on their channel. It's a very in-depth playthrough with lots of side quests and exploration, and as someone who never really got into the Elder Scrolls games myself, it's been really fun to watch the story unfold without having to play the actual game myself. And finally, I've been watching Nick play Marvel Midnight Suns. Basically, if I don't feel up to gaming myself, I'm a little bit tired, I will just watch Nick play games instead, and this month we've been actually for a while now, we've been watching, I've been watching him play Marvel Midnight Suns. This game is basically a combination between a deck building strategy game and also like a dating simulator, social life simulator. Basically you go back and forth between fighting on these missions with cards and being social and getting to know the Midnight Suns and the other Marvel characters that are in the game. Basically, Nick does all the fighting and I do all the decision making and the dialogue and all the interpersonal relationship things, and together we make a pretty good team. So yeah, that is everything that I've been playing, streaming, reading, and watching this month of April. Hopefully this will become a monthly series if I'm able to keep up a variety of different things enough to keep these videos interesting. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Later days!